Hello, welcome to another Haxe tutorial. In this video we're going to have a look at Booleans and comparisons. So a Boolean is a value that can be in one out of two states, and those two states are either true or false. And this is quite useful when we're storing simple values. So for example, let's say we want to create a variable to keep track of whether a door is open or not. Let's create a new variable. We'll call it door open, and the data type for a Boolean is bool in Haxe. Like all data types, it has a capital at the beginning, and when we assign it, we can set it to either true or false. So we'll set it to true for now, and now we have our Boolean, and if we trace it, we run this, as you can see, it traces out true. So this is one way we can set a Boolean, by setting it directly, but we can also evaluate things and set the answer of that to a Boolean. So let's say we have two names. Name one is Bucky, and these are both strings, and name two is Sally. So now we want to store whether the names are the same. So we'll create a new variable called names same. So now we want to set this to whether these two strings are equal to each other. So how do we do that? Well, we type name one, and as you can see here, when we assign things, we use equals. So if we used single equals here, it would be confused. So when we're checking if two things are equal, we don't use a single equals, we use two equals. So now this gets evaluated when we set this variable. So it checks whether name1 and name2 are the same, and if they are, then this is true, and if they're not, then this is false. So these two names are not the same, so this should be false. So if we run this, as you can see, that is what we get. Now, another thing we can do is we can do other comparisons. So let's say instead we wanted to check if the names are different. Instead of doing equals, we would do not equals, and we do this by doing exclamation mark equals. So this is essentially the same, just the opposite. So if they're the same, it will return false, and if they're different, it will return true. So the names are different, so we should get true. And as you can see, we do get true. If this looks a bit confusing to you, it might help if you put a bracket around here. And you see that this statement is evaluated, and that's what this gets set to. So that's equals to and not equals to. Now let's look at another comparison. So let's look at an example of where we have a high score and a new score, and we want to see if the new score is greater than the high score. We'll create a new variable called high score, and we'll set this to 10, and we'll create a new variable called new score, and this will be 6 for now, and we'll create a Boolean variable called score beaten, and this will store whether new score is greater than high score. So what we're going to do is we're going to say new score, and then to check if it's greater, we use the greater than sign, and then we just put high score here, and we'll just trace whether the score's been beaten. And now we run this. As you can see, the new score is not greater than the high score, so the score hasn't been beaten. And now if we say that the new score is 11, it is greater, so it has been beaten. We could also switch this the other way around. Less than is also possible. And we can also even do greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So let's do another example where we're going to have a word. This word will be a string that's just interesting. And we're going to store a Boolean that stores whether the word is long or not. And we're going to define a word that's long as a word that has 10 or more letters. So we'll create a variable called word is long. We can work out the length by doing word.length. And now you can add this dot length to any string you have, and this will work out the length of that string. So we can change the string and it will just work out the length. So we don't have to manually count, and if we change it, it won't mess up our program. So now we can say word.length, and if it's greater than or equal to 10. So if it's 10 letters long or more, and if we run this, we should get true. Oh, sorry, we have to trace this. And now if we run this, as you can see, we get true out. So now if we remove a letter, and now this is 10 characters long, if we run this, it's still true, because it's not greater than, but it is equal to 10. However, if we remove one more letter, and we run this, it's now false, because it doesn't count as a long word. So that's how we can use some basic operators. We can also do it. We can also use less than or equal to. But for now, that's all we're going to look at in this episode. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos. And I'll see you in the next one.